Hi everyone. So today I'm going to walk through the process of kind of creating or creating this little interactive PDF basics, not a complete one by far, but basic elements that you'll need to make them interact and link together. For instance, um, I have this piece here. I have my home tab. This is my home page. Say this was like a little mock portfolio that has some text, and then I have like a link up here that links you to three different pages that has different pieces that I may want you to see. The good thing about this is you can create these now in InDesign and actually publish these online that creates links to them. So you're not necessarily creating a PDF that you have to hand somebody or email someone. You can actually email it to them um, through via the cloud, I guess, and all the interactive links should work. Like this right here, I have one page, two page, three page, and then I can always go back to my home page. So I literally have four buttons on this page, four pages, and there's a lot you can do with these interactive PDFs, portfolio stuff. You can make eDocs, kind of reading material. Probably have used them before and not even really realized it. You can embed them on your website to take you to an alternate link, to have some interactivity. The important thing about it, it's kind of a fundamental of basic starting out website design and learning about like states of buttons and rollover. And, you can also mess around with the animation and kind of understand how things just look a lot better whenever you start putting movement and create that interactivity, that engaging look to them. So let's just walk through this. Now, I'm not the best at InDesign, but I do know this is a powerful way of doing it. So I'll try to keep a good pace here. So I'm just going to start a new document, 1920 1080. All this stuff is default. Now, a few things you need to realize over here. You go to your digital publishing. If you were actually in your essentials, you may not see all this stuff. You'll see your pages tab and everything, but I would go to the digital publishing because that way all of your um, stuff comes up over here. You probably got to go to your interactive and add a few tabs, buttons, and forms. If it's not on there, you can find it here. Your bookmark is what you'll need too, and the animation if you want to add any animation. It'll just add the window. You can just dock it in there. But I use these three. I'll use pages, bookmarks, buttons, and forms mainly, and then I'll do animationing and timing if I'm adding an animation to my pages. So looking at your pages, it's created a master page along with the first page. The master page is basically what you'll be working on for um, all the pages. And this is important because in web design, say if you're working with an HTML page, building, say something like a platform like Dreamweaver, or you would apply any kind of like major changes to your master page, and that would apply to all the other separate pages that you create. So there's no sense in like creating each page separately then linking them all together. You want to create everything to your master page, in other words. So like in this document here that I had the four different pages, I have a master page right here that has my menu selection and my home bar. And then with each page according, I've created the different elements on that page. It's a pretty easy process to understand. So let's just go to my master page here and create a few items that I know that I'll need on the theme throughout. And this is not going to be pretty. I'm just going to create something you'll kind of see. Here's a bar. I like the green, darker green. Let's put my name up here. So if this is like a portfolio website, and if you notice on your first page here, I'm only going to create two pages with this. So, or let's create three. So if you want to add pages down here now, you'll let's go ahead and create the buttons first. I want to go ahead and do some buttons. So I'm going to create circular buttons, these little ellipse tool here. I'm just going to create little blue buttons. I want to add a text in there so you kind of know what page they go to. Oops. Little right there. So now I'm going to group that together, Control G. I look over here on my layers tab, if you're familiar with InDesign. Now I have my group 1, 2. This is what I'm going to be creating my buttons out of. So I'm going to copy this, paste and push, and I'm just going to shift it next to it, and I'm just going to go in that group. I'm going to change that to 2. Excellent. So this is my master page. I have 1, 2 buttons. I'm going to create the buttons out of these, and I'm going to create a home page, or no, I'll just create 2 pages. So I'm going to go down here and create another page, another page. Oops, those are creating masters. I'm not creating masters, I'm creating pages. So I'll click there. And if you notice on each one of the pages now, everything from the master page laid over like that. So this is going to be my home. Let me bring in my little home PDF or PNG. I'm just going to use the place. Put that on the master page because I want it to be everywhere. That way I can always click back to this home page here, because this first page is going to be my home page. This page is going to be my first piece, and this page is going to be my second piece. So how do I start defining these things to know in my brain that basically what I'll link the buttons to? That would be the bookmark. So in other words, this is how I keep up with it. You can't bookmark the master page basically. It already is the master page. Now, if you were to go and name more masters, A, B, C master, I think you could, but I'm only concerned about bookmarking this page 1, 2, and 3 here. So I'm going to click on this and the way I like to do it, because this always confused me to begin with, make sure the thing is blue highlighted. That way you know you have the first page selected. Go to your bookmark page and go to add a bookmark. This is going to be my home. Go back to my pages. Select the second one. This is going to be my one piece, first piece, whatever you want to name your pages. Click on the second one, click. Second piece. So now it's basically creating buttons and adding content to those separate pages. Now you don't want to add your content to your master page because there's no sense in that. This is these are your separate individual pages, which whatever theme background you have on should be on your master page, whether it be a white block or just a full complete background of stuff. And if you notice, that's what I did here is I just had like a home page that told a little bit about me. Then I had like a one piece and then another piece, projects of what I may do. So I'm going to add a image here, which will be my about me page maybe. I'm looking for it on my other screen here. Place it around, you can create some text. Got my lorem ipsum generator. I'm getting bored. I'm doing it. I'm just over on the other screen right now. There we go. Now obviously I need to adjust this. There we go. This is my home page. Page that you first click on whenever you send the PDF or send the document somewhere that has a selection bar up here, all your theme. Now you would never need really, this actually will activate the home page. That's why, but it still needs to be on there sometimes. That's why I usually like to use like a little icon of sorts instead of just home, because it gets a little gaudy sometimes, I guess. So I just kind of keep it simple. I'm going to go create an image for the second piece. Let's just kind of emulate that first one I had. First piece, and this, and if you notice over here in your page, you can kind of see things changing, which is kind of cool. I'll add the second piece. What did it place in there? I'm just adding this here geometry. There it is. It's a little bigger. Okay, so now my content's built. I have my 3 pages. Now it's just basically linking them together. Let me first go ahead and save this. Lose track of everything. Alright, so now let me go to my master page. And I'm going to create buttons out of this stuff right here. Now this got a little confusing with me because the group, I had to make sure these things were grouped right. So going back to my other one here, just to recheck myself. Text is over the circle. Create that, cool. So this is my first group here. Just make sure, nope, this is the one I want right here. I'm going to select the group, and we'll select these 2 items with it. Make sure, and I'm going to create a button out of this. Type button, event on release or tap. You want it to be on the click. and then you need to create an action with it. Go to destination. Now this is where the bookmarks comes in handy, because you can go down here and pick your destination. Notice all three of your bookmarks show up. Well, you want the number one to go to your one piece, so it's already on that, so awesome, it is. I'm going to do the same with number two up here. I'm going to select the group. I'm going to create a button out of that one. I'm going to click and give it go to destination. I'm going to click that one for the two piece. And I'm going to save. I'm going to see if this works, just to make sure. This one may not work the same way because my button here. Let me back up and make sure I did that right. I don't think the first one. Okay, I got my groups. I'm going to go to my group one, and I'm just going to select all this stuff here. Add button. There we go. That's working, I know. On click, go to destination, one piece. So it should say button, normal, one, it's my text, and that's the circle of the group. Basically, the group becomes a button. Type button, on click, destination, two piece. Now let's save that. I'm just going to publish this real quick to see if these buttons work. Then I'll mess with this rollover state. So I just like to always check it online. The way I would actually do it doesn't take too long. If you go publish online, this box comes up here. Publish new document. You could update the existing document. All pages. Publish. And it takes it a minute. This box comes up. You can copy and paste the URL, or you can view the document. Now, if you notice, whenever you roll it over, the little hand comes up. That means those buttons work. I'm just going to click here. Oh, okay. Well, it took me there. My little. I think maybe my pages may be screwed up. Oh yeah, the images. It took me to the right page. It just had my image screwed up on that one. I need to delete that and put in a different image so I know. Let's do that. There. So now I know I'm going to be having different images. But let's look at this rollover state, because we know my buttons work, and I also need to add a button to this right here. But I want to change the rollover state on here. Show you how to do that. So we'll get back to my master page, and we'll click here on the actual button up here. Now, if you notice it says normal, that's because that's the normal state of how it's going to look. Get my buttons and forms. So here's my appearance down here, normal. Now, if you click on your rollover state down here, that means whenever you roll the mouse over, you could alter it to change a different color, or a different size or something else appears, you'll look with some of the other interactive PDF tutorials, like they get into making transparency images to where they're switching images out. Whenever you roll over the state, another image will appear. That's a little advanced, but just to kind of understand this right now, I'm just going to change the color of the back here to another color. So I'm in the rollover state, and I like to go to my layer tab up here just to make sure. Circle. I'm going to change it to a color. So now the blue's still there, but it is going to change the screen whenever you roll over it. You can notice it's changed to rollover state. If I click on it, now it's on normal state. It didn't go away, it's still there. So let me do that for number 2. I don't remember exactly what color that was. I'll just give it a, let's give it a purple. Oops, I need to be in rollover before I do this. I gave it a rollover state. Now I need to kind of select that circle and alter that color. Now let's save that. Now while we're here on the master page, I'm going to make this a button right here and make it link to the home page. So I click the image, type, button, action, go to destination, home. And I'm not going to change this rollover state on that one. You could kind of maybe scale it up. It's where you roll over it, a jump, but and go save. Now I'm going to publish this again just to see if this thing works. Alright, so my home page has a rollover now. Oh, and my rollover states work for my buttons. That's that first page, second page. Now I want to go back to the home. Yeah. It's always good to keep in mind too to check every button on every page, because it may be broken on, say, this may be not working on this page for some reason, and it just kind of all trickles downhill. So every time you get something complete, always go back and try to check every single button, because if something's not working, that will be the button someone will click on and be like, this button doesn't here work. It looks good, but this button here doesn't work. Now I have a fully functional little kind of piece here. You can kind of see the 3 pages we've created. The interactivity on the home page kind of can take you there. And now basically you can start making any kind of animation or additive to the images itself. I won't get into motion paths with this one, but I'll add an animation to, say, like this page here. Say I wanted this image right here to come in a different way. Well, that's your animation tab. Bring up your animation window. Got all these presets. You've got the item selected. Presets you can choose from. So you want this thing to fade in whenever you click on it. You can give it a duration. You want 2 seconds to wait, and then it kind of fades in. You can always check the preset that's going to publish online. You can always check this here preview spread right here. It's coming up on the other window. You can redo it. So if you were to click on that page now, it kind of comes in there, and you can change that. Let me see. Another one. Fly in from the right. You can mess with the rotation. rotate it 180 degrees. The scale, the opacity, whether you want it to fade in, fade out. If you want to create a custom path, you can actually go over here and use your pencil tab. Say you wanted your image now to kind of come in from the side. If you had like a little, say it's off right there. I'm going to create this little path right here. Use the pencil tab. Where'd my image go? Probably need to have it on here a little bit. It's weird. You can create motion paths because if you noticed up here, this path created that it travels on the animation, you can actually create those by the pen tool yourself, whatever shape you want to, which is how I did this one right here on this other demo that I did. I drew a path to where it would come down. It's kind of an ugly path, but it was a custom path. I'm trying to do it again here. Not really understanding. Maybe I need to take the pen tool. So I'm going to select my image, select my path, my animation tab. To your icon down here, convert to motion path. Now you can kind of adjust where you want things. You can actually stretch this out if you wanted to using your pen tool or your selection tool. But I'm going to have it animate from current appearance to current location. Current appearance. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want to go in that way. I want to go in the other way. From current appearance. Something like that. If I wanted to move this, there we go. A little too far down, but you get the idea. So yeah, so let me publish this again and just kind of look at this final. You can copy the URL. You can save it as a PDF. So piece 1 comes in from that way, little animation. Piece 2, whoa! Probably need to slow it down, obviously, and kind of make it fade in so it's not so amateurish, I guess I'd say. But I want you to just kind of understand the tools available that you can kind of start messing with this stuff, because obviously, you know, you spend some more time on the document itself and make different text roll in from the side. I always like it whenever text kind of slowly fades in to not to jar the system, if you're, especially if you're reading something. And yeah, so have fun with this. You can export these out as, if you go to export it out as a PDF that you want to save on your flash drive, just make sure that it's saved as the Adobe PDF Interactive. Sometimes there are certain things that may be weird about it and may not work. It's just kind of trial and error. I've noticed that sometimes like a button may not show up if you export it like that, or if you publish it online, vice versa. Just kind of always kind of go back and check just to make sure, because that's usually the case. It's just something that, you know, a user error has possibly an overlook, real simple overlook. So make sure you check it twice before you export if something's not working. And start simple. I mean, this is why I do this simple one to begin with. You don't really have to put text over those buttons. Just make some rollover colors if you want to bring images in that you want to use as buttons, and maybe give them a different state. You go to adding animation. We'll talk more about adding custom animations and stuff. So whenever you click on something, it animates it. You know, you can, because if you notice the buttons, whenever you see, I'm on this page. Must the page. If you create buttons with stuff, events on click, you can have them actually go to a destination, go to an animation. In other words, if I made this bar button and it was clickable whenever I clicked on it, it would do something like rotate around or spin around. Fun stuff like that. So, okay, I think that's a good place to end, and have fun with that. Interested to see what you come up with, and yeah, thanks for watching.